Well, let me wrap up with one here that we'll pick up on a thread we've been pulling for years now, the fluoride story. Guys, thanks to everybody who's been with us this whole show. We've been at it now for over an hour, almost an hour and a half, and we know we've covered a lot of information. As we mentioned earlier, all of the sources for this entire show are listed at thehoustonfreethinkers.com. We put the articles we cover. You can go in, read them for yourself, and make your own conclusions. This one is related to a new document dump that has come out as part of the ongoing fluoride trial, fluoride lawsuit that I've been covering here on this show since 2020. It has been it's been now given a new court date, January 2024. And in the meantime, the Fluoride Action Network, who's suing the EPA, they have been filing more documents with the court. And one of these documents is a set of emails that they got via public records request in California. And these emails come from California's state dental director, Dr. Jayath Kumar, where it's pretty astounding, Micah. Like, this story, I don't think it's that difficult to follow. It can get a little in the weeds, but all people really need to know, and what we're going to highlight here, is that these emails specifically show this gentleman that we're showing on screen, Dr. Kumar from California, state dental director, clearly trying to just encourage the peer reviewers in this study that he eventually got published after being rejected several times for being biased, trying to change the conclusions, changing graphs and data to try to fit a conclusion that they had already wanted to arrive at, which is that fluoride does not have an association with lower IQ in children, which is what has been found in the last couple years and through these recent reports that we've been covering here on the show. You can go back and see previous episodes about that. But this doctor, this dental director, says that this is not accurate, and so let's get into it. The emails, again, they come from his personal emails, California State Dental Director, and relate to a now published meta-analysis, which is in the journal Public Health, which claims that fluoridated water does not have an association with lower IQ in children. This is one of the most recent studies that have come out, which appears to contradict the previous studies that have been coming out, which showed the exact opposite. And so the government in recent hearings has tried to point and say, hey, look, this is most recent data, Judge. Don't use those old studies. Look at this. We found a study that shows fluoride safe. And these emails give us some insight into that process of Dr. Kumar, who is one of the authors. The emails, again, they come from Fluoride Action Network, and they have been shared with the U.S. government agency, which is at the heart of this whole battle, the National Toxicology Program. And the emails, let's get into the details of what they say. Kumar told his colleagues that his aim was to, quote, preempt the NTP, which is the agency trying to make a final decision about whether it believes fluoride causes toxicity and lower IQ in kids. He says he's going to preempt the NTP and show that fluoridated water is safe. In his email to his co-authors, he emphasized the urgency of this task because, again, he was trying to get this published while this trial is going on. The Fluoride Action Network also shows through the emails that Kumar's paper was rejected 4 times before being published, with one peer review describing the study as superficial, unbalanced, and misleading. According to the Fluoride Action Network, the emails show the peer reviewer referring to misinformation in the study and worrying that it will, quote, fuel more controversy rather than stimulate prudent science-based decisions. So again, his study being called superficial, unbalanced, and misleading. Then we have further emails, one dated March 5th, 2022, when, again, he did an analysis that did not reach the conclusions he wanted. He asked the study's biostatistician saying to him, these results are, quote, opposite of what we hoped for. In response to this, the statistician said to him that they could try different models to see if they might reach different results. He said, quote, although hard, we can test more models to try to identify a threshold, a safe level, that can lead to a non-significant fluctuation in IQ before the threshold and a significant drop in IQ after the threshold. So basically trying to say, like, hey, we can make it where the threshold safe level, which is what the government claims is fluoride is safe, that there's a non-significant fluctuation.
Non-significant drop is a drop.
It's still a drop, right? Like, he's like, we can make it seem non-significant, and then after that threshold, there will be a drop. And, we can say, yeah, there's a drop, but it's after the threshold that we say is safe. So once the decision was made to remove this analysis together, the study concluded, here's the conclusion, these meta-analyses show that fluoride exposure relevant to community water fluoridation is not associated with lower IQ scores in children. The paper was promoted by the American Dental Association. And in fact, even the American Dental Association told the NTP they shouldn't publish their own report, which finds the exact opposite because of this particular paper, which shows you the relevance of it. So behind the scenes, again, this dental director is saying he's going to preempt the NTP report. He's going to try to get conclusions here that are not what it appears to show, what their own data shows. One of the peer reviewers called the work superficial, unbalanced, and misleading, even referring to it as misinformation, saying it would fuel more controversy. And this paper does eventually get published. It's been published now, and the Fluoride Action Network, as I mentioned, has turned these emails over to the court and to the NTP just to say, hey, by the way, that study that some people are telling you to look into, here's what we found. Here's the California State Dental Director, who I will say I emailed looking for a comment for this article. He has not responded, but if he does, I will update the show with whatever he says. My guess is he's not going to be in a hurry to answer, for what his private emails appear to show. And as somebody said here, it's all data cooking. I do think that's one thing, is people need to think not only just in terms of COVID-19, but things like climate change and other stuff. I mean, you make your own decisions, but I'm just saying, if somebody's whole argument's based on computer models, just know that those things aren't just cooked independently without bias and coming down from on high. It's like there's bias that can be cooked into there. There's ways to interpret, to slice the graph, to slice the model, and to make it fit a conclusion. And I think that's this case. What do you think about that, Micah? Surprised at all to see the behind conversation? I think these things are revealing because, again, we're told peer review process, right? Like, that's the standard, this and that. And then here's a conversation of him behind the scenes like, hey, guys, we need to hurry up. I got to preempt this report.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's interesting that, like, the initial reviews of it and how it took so long, like, to even get his book or whatever, because it was so full of problems. Yeah, no.
Hopefully more people will hear about this story. I mean, I wrote about it here for The Last American Vagabond. I saw Children's Health Defense do a report on it. The Fluoride Action Network's promoting it. But these stories aren't really getting the traction that I personally think they deserve. In the last couple months here on this show and through my articles, we've shown emails highlighting how Rachel Levine, the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, blocking the release of a report. Then another health director saying, no, it was me. Either way, both of them should be controversial. Hey, health director blocks report that says fluoride lowers IQ in children. Now we have a California State Dental Director in emails trying to, fit the predetermined conclusion. In my mind, this should be front page, New York Times, whatever sort of trusted outlet people might believe in, because this is a 70-year-old policy that people have been convinced is one of the greatest medical achievements of the 20th century. And every major city is promoting it, has it in the water. People are showering in it, drinking it, etc. And this is just, and also because it's this topic that I know that we've talked about for years, and it's one that will get you called crazy. But there's reports like this that are just not getting the attention they need, and so people are like, oh, you sound like some conspiracy theorist, Dr. Strangelove, or whatever.
He said he gets paid. Is that right? He gets paid. He gets paid to promote.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, he's definitely he's a proponent for water fluoridation in his position, and he benefits from that.
Since 2012, the Conscious Resistance Network has been an independent media organization focused on empowering individuals through education, philosophy, health, and community organizing. We work to create a world where corporate and state power do not rule over the lives of free human beings. Our motto is leading by example and helping others in their pursuit of freedom. Visit theconsciousresistance.com to find our articles, documentaries, interviews, podcasts, books, and more. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free.